Welcome to a journey of transformation. Every week, we explore new horizons, pushing boundaries and embracing what's next. This isn't just about technology, it's about evolving ourselves. Think of it as your weekly reset, a chance to upgrade your mindset, your skills, and your potential. We're here to help you rethink how you approach challenges, how you innovate, and ultimately, how you succeed. From powerful insights to practical strategies and game-changing knowledge, we tap into everything you need. It's about staying ahead, not just in a digital world, but in life itself, equipping you for every new beginning. Because in this fast-paced era, standing still is simply not an option. Growth is continuous. You either choose to evolve, to adapt, and to learn, or you risk being left behind. Embrace the change. This isn't just an update. It's a profound rebirth, a chance to redefine your future, to step into your power, and to truly thrive. It's about unlocking your next level. Join us on this exciting path. Embrace your new beginning. Your journey starts now.
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast. It is Tech Tuesday, man. It is Tech Tuesday, and we got a great show for you tonight. The Sensei is with me, ladies and gentlemen. The Sensei is here. We are here. I am here, right? So, before we get into it, Sensei, how you feel?
Feeling good.
Good. That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear. Look, man, we got a great show for you tonight, guys. Before we do that, got a few admin notes I need to get out the way, right? First of all, right, go get Go Time All Aboard the Fired Up Train. The link is in the bottom of the screen. Go get it, man. If you have not gotten the first book, Go Time All Aboard the Fired Up Train, go get the book. It's the first book in a series, right? The second book comes out when? This Thursday, it is coming out, ladies and gentlemen. Go Time 2 will be out this Thursday. The train has left the station. Oh my God, I'm super excited about it, man. Look, it'll be book 2. You need book 1. So get book 1, then turn around and get book 2, right? That's how you do it. All right. Look, if you haven't, this is episode number 289, man. This is episode number 289. If you have not gotten all or seen all of our episodes, go to our website at www.thefinalbosspodcast.com and check out all of our episodes, right? And if you want to be part of the town hall, you would like to be on a show, or you have questions, concerns, or anything of that nature, shoot us an email at info at thefinalbosspodcast.com. That's info at thefinalbosspodcast.com. Hey, Molly's in the building. Chakani's in the building. We got a few others in the building. Thank you guys for joining us. Look, without further ado, we are going to go ahead and get ready to get into tonight's show, man, because we have to. This is part 2, right? This is part 2 of last week's episode, man. Last week's episode where we didn't get a chance to finish giving you guys all the information, and you deserve. As our audience, right? You deserve all of the information. So we're going to make sure that we get you all of the information to our communities, smarts, motivators, warriors, final bosses. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Right? And as always, before we get ready to get started, the greeting of the day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That is the greeting of the day, and we are about to go live, right? Sensei, you have any words before we get started, man?
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Okay, all right. Well, let's go ahead and get rid of these banners. The banners out the way. I see Benjamin Franklin. Thank you for joining us. Okay. All right. Okay. So last time we was with you guys, right? We was with you. We left off at I think it was episode 284.
284.
And 284. And we were talking about something very compelling, right? We were talking about the machine, right? And how it stopped asking for permission. So we were only able to get through the show. What you guys saw and what we actually got to was the halfway point, right? In that, we talked about 19 unauthorized AI actions, a broken incentive structure, regulation that was still playing catch up, and trillions in capital moving faster than any safeguard built to contain it. We ran out, right? We ran out of the clock before we ran out of our story, right? But tonight we're going to finish it, and then we're going to do the audit, right? That's the checkpoint. And here's the leadership lesson. And here's the declaration, because there's always one, right? You're going to find that later on in tonight's episode. So if you missed part one, go back and watch it. Get a recap in it real quick, right? And if you caught it live, welcome back. Welcome back to where we left off. So, but before we do that, of course, we have our brass tacks of the evening, right? And if you don't know what the brass tacks is, listen, catch up with the brass tacks. So tonight's brass tacks is: we didn't run out of truth. We ran out of time. Tonight, we get a chance to finish both the final boss and the sensei. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Final bosses, man, let's get right into it. So, family, we owe you a finish. What say you, Sensei?
Well, last Tuesday we got into it, but it's such a big subject. Just the clock just beat us.
Yeah, it definitely beat us. Never happened before like that.
No, that's because the story is too big to rush it. We didn't want to rush. We didn't want to cut it short. We wanted to get all the information out because we'd rather finish it than cut it short.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, 4 communities. Tonight, this is episode number 289, part 2 of The Machine Stop Asking Permission.
And here's a quick recap for anybody who's just joining.
Well, give it to us straight, Sensei.
All right. So 122 controlled security tests. 19 times an AI agent went outside its lane with fake identities, unrequested code, and real people pulled into a fake test.
17 incidents from one frontier lab, 2 from another.
And we walk through why it happens. It's called incentive structure, and it rewards speed over caution. And the scary part is this is industry wide. It's not isolated.
And look, we walked through the money, right? Of course, we talked about trillions pouring into infrastructure. GPU prices were doubling. Data centers are dividing communities as we speak.
And we've walked through the regulation, and Europe is already moving. America, we're still fragmented. We're at the floor, not the ceiling.
And that was the first 30 minutes. Well, that was the hour, which
yeah.
Yeah.
And tonight we're going to finish the back half. We're going to do the audit, the checkpoint, and the history. And most importantly, the leadership lesson.
And the declaration itself.
We have 60 new minutes, 15 fresh segments, and of course the same fire as last week, but we've got a lot more ground to cover.
Absolutely. So let's pick it back up where we left off at, Sensei. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right. So one more thing before we move, family, right? Some of you asked, why didn't we just cram everything into one episode? Hey, you want to answer that?
And that's a fair question. I mean,
Mhm.
it's an honest answer.
All right, give it to them.
So, because if we rushed into the back half, we would have done exactly what we're warning against tonight: speed over substance.
And we've been the example instead of the lesson.
Exactly. And neither of us is willing to do that for this topic.
Absolutely. So, look, we took the extra week, and here we are.
And we're going to do it right instead of doing it fast.
And that's not a small thing. Look, that's not a small thing to model for our audience and for our communities.
No, because we're trying to practice what we preach. You know, if we don't do that, family, then why preach it at all?
Exactly. All right. That's why, um, you know, that's the why, right? Behind this segment. Now, let's get to the how.
All right. So we're going to do a quick roadmap before we dive in so nobody gets lost.
All right, go ahead and give it to them.
All right. First half of tonight, we're going to go deeper into the toolkit. We're going to talk about audits, checkpoints, vendor vetting, history, and importantly, good actors.
And what about the second half?
All right. Then we're going to talk about governance policy, culture. We talk about the Sensei's corner, and direct address to all 4 communities.
All right. That's the mailbag. Rapid fire, and then the declaration to close both episodes out.
That's right. For tonight, we got 60 minutes, 15 segments, same structure as always, but new ground the whole way.
All right, let's move. Let's go.
All right. One last note before we get into the toolkit. So, if you're new to the show, welcome, but do yourself a favor.
Catch episode number 284. After tonight, you're going to have to go back.
Right, because everything we built in the next 56 minutes stands on that foundation.
All right, family, let's build the second half of the story right.
Right, and to everybody who's been here since the episode 284 aired, thank you. Appreciate you.
We do appreciate you. That patience is exactly what we're talking about tonight.
And we're slowing down for the right reasons always pays off. Not just on this show, but in business.
Right. Now, let's prove that point over this segment of the show. Oh, man. Whew. So, Sensei, last week, we gave the room 5 questions. Quick refresher before we go any deeper.
Cool. Now we start with question number 1. What can this tool do without human approval? Name every action. And that doesn't sound like much, but man, that's a lot.
It is.
Especially when you have agents and tools that are doing a lot. Number 2, what happens if it steps outside of the list? Is there a kill switch? Silence? Reporting? Something? What happens?
And 3, has the vendor published independent safety testing? And then there's, of course, number 4. What's the real cost of unsupervised hours? Not just dollars, right?
And number 5, would you be comfortable explaining this tool's access to your customers?
That's the refresher. And tonight we're going to go one layer deeper.
Because, I mean, look, knowing the questions is one thing, but it is not the same as running them right.
All right, let's walk that out.
All right, for most people, run this audit once and file it away. That's what they'll do. They run it once, they're done. They never look at it again. And that's not an audit. That's just a memory. That's just a blip.
So what makes it real?
The hardest part about this, look, I've heard many times from many people, nothing is finished until the paperwork is done. So documentation is important. You write that down, you date it, you put a name next to who confirmed it. But you have
and why
to
does
write
that
it
matter?
down.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
exactly.
6 months from now, when they update the tool,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you need to know is the answer changed? And at least you have
True.
someone you can go back to and
Right.
ask them, has the answer changed?
Because vendors push updates quietly all the time.
Oh my goodness, look at just your Windows 11. How many things that
Yeah.
happen to it nowadays? And you're like, what happened to my phone where things just all got moved around? It all looks
Right.
different now. It doesn't act the same because
Mhm.
it's called permissions creep. It's when the access expands and nobody announces it with a press release.
So the audit ain't a one-time event.
No, that's a living document. It's the
Mm.
same as an insurance policy. You don't set it and forget it.
Now, let me ask something practical, right? What if a vendor refuses to answer one of these 5 questions?
Well, if they refuse to answer, that
Mhm.
is the answer. Now, look, a vendor who's unwilling to answer basic access questions is telling you something about the product without saying a word. It's not what they say, it's what they don't say.
And silence is data.
And silence is the loudest answer in this whole audit.
Now, let me push something on you, Sensei, right? What if the vendors answer all 5, but the answers are weak? Because that happens.
So, of course, they have what's called weak sauce, just enough to get you to back off, or they
Mm.
throw fancy words at you. But weak is not the same as refusing. So do treat it differently.
Okay, that's a good point. But how different?
So, well, I mean, a weak answer, it's at least a negotiation starting point. The refusal, it's just a closed door.
That makes sense. So you push back on the weak ones before you walk away.
Right. Because once they give you weak answers, you can now ask for specifics. You can ask for a timeline to improve it. Good vendors want pushback because it makes their product better.
And a vendor who gets defensive when you push.
And that is information, just like silence.
That's some good data. All right. So everything in the audit teaches you something, even the reactions to it.
Right. And this is the real value. Okay. So it's not just the 5 answers, it's the 5 conversations that reveal character. And you have to remember who you're getting in bed with, who you're trusting to your systems. You need to be able to have trust, and you can't get it from just refusal to answer your questions or blowing you off.
Right. So let me bring up something we skipped last week. What about tools you built in-house, not bought from a vendor?
Well, I mean, it's the same 5 questions. The questions don't change. Okay.
Oh,
And it's harder to answer them honestly because now you're critiquing yourself
okay. That's a good point. But why harder?
because there's no outside party forcing
Mm.
accountability. It's internal. And what are you going to have? The same pressure as the outside company. Get it going.
So who plays devil advocate on your own team's behalf and build?
Well, it certainly cannot be the team who builds it
Right.
because that's the fox in the hen house. It's got to be somebody who's outside the build team has to run the audit, not the builders themselves.
Same principle as the independent auditor from segment 7, just a little internal vision, a little more sauce.
Right. Because you can't grade your own homework. I mean, I don't care if you're a lab or a small development team. You don't grade your own work.
Right. And that's a blind spot of a lot of technical founders probably are going through right now.
Well, of course, because it costs money for that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to invest the money in the product. So the most dangerous blind spot in the whole episode is honesty because it feels the safest.
Honesty. Honesty, right? Sounds like a hexadecimal problem. But let's continue, right? So last week, we introduced human in the loop as the one principle. That would have stopped all 19 incidents.
Right. And tonight, we build it. We don't just define it.
So where do you want to start?
Well, map every AI action in your business into 2 columns. It's just not hard.
Right.
2 columns, low stakes and high stakes.
All right, give me the low stakes.
All right, low stakes is things that aren't going to kill you. Okay, scheduling,
Mm-hmm.
drafting, internal notes, research summaries. So you can let those run wild. No checkpoints needed for those because nobody gets hurt.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the high stakes.
All right, anything it touches, money,
Of course.
customer communication,
Mm-hmm.
and code deployment. And here's another one that most people skip over: public content.
You know, every one of those gets a pause point before it fires.
Well, you have to, with no
Mm.
exceptions. No matter how much it costs you in speed, it doesn't matter because those are the ones that are going to hurt you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Thank you for that. Now, we've gone through the low, we've gone through the high. Now, walk me through what the pause point actually looks like.
So it's the simplest version. It's a queue. Okay.
Okay.
The
Mhm.
AI drafts the action. It sits in a queue, ready to go, but a human has to approve it before it executes.
Um, it doesn't need to be anything fancy.
No, it's something as simple as a shared inbox.
Oh, okay.
I mean, a Slack approval step. You add one step to the process. This is just a process change. It's not an expensive platform purchase. You're just adding one more step.
So cost isn't the excuse.
No, it's the cheapest fix in the whole toolkit.
Hmm.
Honestly, it is.
Okay. All right, but then, and that's a great point. So, what about speed? Doesn't this slow the business down?
Well, I mean, it does, but that's the point.
Hmm.
Businesses are treating that slowdown as a bug instead of a feature.
Okay.
That's exactly who's being exposed right now.
Okay. So, give me the real world costs.
All right. So if you skip this, okay, if you
Mhm.
have problems with things like an auto refund bot, no checkpoint, a customer figures out how the game is working and how it's worded, and they start farming the refunds that nobody earned.
Ooh, that point deserves a clap from the audience. That's a great point, right? And nobody catches it till the finance report at the end of the month.
And by then, it's too late. Thousands have gone. Not $1. One human glance before it fires stops the whole thing.
Damn. 10 minutes of friction versus thousands in loss.
And look, there's no comparison. I mean, no comparison at all.
Hmm. Wow. That's one more layer. And Sensei, before we move on to the next one, what about tools that don't have a clean approval or a deny moment?
Well, what do you mean? Give me an example.
Something continuous, like an AI monitoring system that's always running in the background.
Okay, good question. It's a different animal, different approach is needed.
Okay. Then what does the checkpoint look like here?
Okay, so since there's no defined moment in time, you don't need a per action approval. It's more like a scheduled review. It's
Mm-hmm.
like either a daily digest or a weekly digest. Human eyes get on the summary, not every single event. And they're looking for things that are outside the norm. Things that you have a baseline and something's above the baseline, you get notified. Something below the baseline, you get notified. Let the baseline run, you're catching highs and lows.
So the checkpoint scales to the nature of the tool.
Right, because one size checkpoint doesn't fit every kind of AI action.
Mm. That's a nuance a lot of people miss when they hear it at a checkpoint.
Right. They match the checkpoint to the risk and the rhythm of the tool itself. That's what you're supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
not add complexity.
So one more thing, Sensei, on implementation specifically.
What do you got?
Well, what happens when the human reviewer is out sick or on vacation? Or just
Because the data
yeah.
never stops, right? The data never
Right.
stops.
Okay.
So this is a real operational question. I mean, it's not a hypothetical question. That happens.
Okay. So what's the fix?
Same fix we use in the military. You share job duties.
Mm.
You plan for your replacement. So you always have someone who can do your job. They might not do all their job, but they can do part of your job. So you
Okay.
build a backup reviewer into the process from day one. Don't just train one person, single point of failure. We build in our computer system redundancy. So you do the same thing in your reviewing process. Have somebody else who can do the review and should be involved in it often enough that they're familiar with it and it can work.
Lord knows we don't like single point of failures. Let me tell you. Listen, that human side defeats the whole purpose.
Right, because if you get a checkpoint that only works when one person's available, that's not a checkpoint. That's a roadblock.
Right. That is a roadblock. So even a safeguard needs its own safeguard.
Right, and that's how real systems work. No shortcuts. None. Not on that one.
Wow. Well, listen, this is great information. Smarts, final bosses, warriors, motivators. Look, great information, right? So, Sensei, you got the floor.
Well, I want to bring on a real segment, a real pattern into this segment, okay? Because it's a pattern.
Okay.
Not a name, not a company, but a real shape that we've both seen.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Got to hydrate.
No.
So, look, if you have a small operation, and we're not talking big multinational company, we're talking maybe 10 employees, and they want to adopt an AI tool for customer service because, of course, it's going to save time and money.
Right.
I mean, this is
It
what
sounds
happens.
like a common story so far, right?
Of course, it's happening all over the place. The difference is the owner ran the 5-question audit. The one who ran the 5-question audit before going live, okay? He found out that the tool had access to the full payment records by default.
They didn't need that.
No, of course not. They didn't need that at all for a customer service use case.
Right.
So what did the owner do? They dial back the permission to read only on the non-payment fields.
Small move, big consequences ahead.
Yeah, but well, that's the whole game.
Say. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, right? In one example.
Now, give me the flip side of that. The cautionary version.
All right, different business, same size, and they skipped the audit entirely. The tool had broad access, nobody checked it, and nobody asked the 5 questions.
Ooh, what happened?
Well, since they never asked the question in the first place, they never documented it in the first place, 6 months in, a permissions update expanded what the tool could touch. We talked about creep during updates. And nobody caught it because nobody is watching for changes because they didn't have the baseline to begin with.
And that's the living document point from segment 2 coming back to visit us.
Right. And these segments they're not separate. They're one system.
Right. Did anything actually go wrong for that second business?
I mean, not yet, as far as we know. And that's the scary part because you might not know for 6 months or a year down the road.
True. But yeah, that's a great point. But explain further, please.
Well, a gap in your safeguards doesn't announce itself.
It
just sits there until something exploits it.
Silent risk versus loud risk.
Yeah. And look, the bottom line is when they both show up, they cost the same.
So the lesson from this segment is,
look, the businesses that get it right, they're not smarter, they're not luckier. They just did the audit before going live, not after something broke and it costs them more.
And that's a message for my warriors who are listening right now. Pay attention.
Well, look, you need to do the unglamorous work early on. And that's what separates you from the headline.
Now, let me ask you, thank you. And you know what? Let me ask you one more thing about that second business, right? The cautionary one. Is there still time for them to fix it?
I mean, there's always time. It's going to be harder because you don't have your initial baseline.
Okay.
So your review that you should have started at to give you a baseline and say it's secure from here, you have to go down the road and try and apply the same thing. There's always time to do it. It's just what's more efficient because it's already functioning, already running, it's already been released. That's a little harder to get done, but it is doable. I mean, and that's the good news in all this. You can still fix it.
So what's the first move?
Well, it's the same 5 questions. from segment 2.
Okay.
Run today, no
Mhm.
different than day 1.
Got it. Doesn't matter if it doesn't matter that they're what 6 months late to the audit.
Well, I mean, late beats no audit every
True.
single time.
Mhm.
No, an audit is not a bad word. An
Right.
audit protects you. An audit reveals weaknesses so that you can fix them before they become a problem.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's actually a relief to hear for anybody feeling behind right now.
Well, I mean, nobody's too far behind to start. Okay, you
Right.
got to start somewhere. The only unrecoverable mistake is never starting at all. If you never start, then you got your head in the sand.
Exactly. Now, let me widen this up a little bit, right? And we're gonna broaden the lens, as I like to say, one more time before we move, right? What's the actual dollar range we're talking about for a business, for a small business breach?
Well, you said the word breach, so that varies wildly. Right, that's a
Yeah,
huge variance. I mean,
true.
even a modest incident can run into real money fast.
Mm. Give me a ballpark.
All right, so you're gonna have potentially lost revenue,
Okay.
remediation time. You got to have time to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to fix the trust that you broke with your customers because now they don't trust you,
Right.
and sometimes you can never recover that. And so that's easily thousands of dollars and sometimes more.
And the audit cost what in comparison?
Well, I'm at an afternoon of somebody's time. I mean, that's
Mhm.
the whole cost. That's about it.
Okay. The math should end the conversation for anybody who's still on the fence.
Well, it's the cheapest insurance policy in the entire toolkit, bar none.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, sir. All right, one more thought, right? And I keep saying that. But before we move on,
Go for it.
that first business you mentioned, the one who caught the payment access issue,
Yeah. What about them?
what happened after the catch?
Well, they grew, they
Mhm.
expanded the tool stack,
Okay.
and now they run the audit as a standard practice.
Okay. So they became part of how they it became part of how they operate, not just a one-time event.
Right. And that's what success actually looks like, right? It's not the headlines here, just good, quiet practice. That's what you need. And
Awesome.
there's another thing about that is that if you follow good practice,
Mm-hmm.
then it's easier for you to maintain and get your cyber insurance. If you don't maintain good practice, you're going to check no's on some of those questions, and you might find yourself in a bad position trying to get cyber insurance.
Cyber insurance, ladies and gentlemen, for our cyber tech companies, right? You got to maintain your insurance and your certifications. So, Sensei, let's build out a real vetting system or process, right? Not just questions to ask, but how to actually run the conversation.
Well, the first step is before you can even talk to the vendor, you need to write down what you need the tool to do, and it better be clear.
Not what it can do, but what you needed to do.
There's a big difference between what it
Mm,
can do and what you need it to do. I've talked to many companies who've had many pieces of software, and they go, "We don't use the software because it does 100 things. We only need it to do 10." And they
mm,
have this massive package. It's a huge difference. The vendors are going to sell the maximum capability. You need to
right.
buy necessity. I need 10 items. I don't need 100. Don't buy the huge package and you don't need it.
All right. Step two.
Ask about the safety documentation before the sales call. You want to be able to review it ahead of time, not during the sales call.
Okay. Let me ask you why before?
Because during the call, the slick answer sounds convincing in the moment. They're
Mm,
gonna have a slick answer. They're primed for you to ask that question. On paper, you can actually read it and you can catch the gaps. You can read it slow. You can catch the gaps. You can see, and you also have better questions because now you know what's in it.
exactly. So papered. Huh. So what's step three?
All right, you're always going to ask this question. You always say, well, who else uses the software? And they rattle off these, the 500 companies, top 500 companies. I don't care about those guys.
Right.
Who's using it at my scale? I'm a 10-person company. Give me those, not the
Mm.
big customer. I want the guys who have not enough staff and they're trying to run this tool, not the people who have a whole department. I want to know who runs this on a shoestring.
Okay. Reference checks, basically.
Right. It's the same thing as vetting a contract before you let them touch your house.
Okay. So what's step 4?
Well, you're going to have to negotiate a trial period. Limited permissions before a full rollout.
So don't go straight to maximum access.
No, never. You start narrow and listen to this. You expand only as trust is earned, not assumed.
Okay. All right. I could dig that. So what's step 5? Let's close it out.
You put the 5-question audit answers in the contract itself,
Okay.
if you can, because they'll tell you anything they want. Like if you go to a recruiter and they promise you can be a Navy SEAL, and suddenly you find yourself a cook on a ship.
Ouch.
Was it? And you ask, was it in writing? No.
Well, make the vendor's promises binding, not just a sales conversation, people.
Because if they don't put it in writing, that tells you something too.
Same principle from segment 2. Silence is data.
And every step of this playbook comes back to the same root idea.
So let's talk about it. What is that?
Trust is earned in increments. It's never granted in one leap of faith. That's true for a vendor, an employee, or a machine. When you have a new employee comes into your building, what do?
Right.
You give them full rights out of the gate, or you give them a tiny little bit and they have to earn and learn?
Absolutely. Earn and learn, right? Now, let me ask about the cost here, because that's the objection I hear most.
Oh, go ahead.
Doesn't a longer vetting process just mean more consultant fees and more delay?
Well, that's what the salesman's going to tell you. But not if you run the playbook yourself, which most of you can.
Okay. Where would you actually spend money if you had to?
Okay. And here's where the money matters. A one-time legal review of the contract language. That is worth paying for.
And everything else?
That's just time and discipline, not dollars.
Okay. So the barrier to doing this right was never really financial.
No, it never was. It was always whether about you slow down enough to do it, to do the unglamorous work.
Wow. All right. So we got that out the way. And thank you for the information, sir. Now let's talk about a real world scenario, right? You're mid-negotiation and your vendors are pushing you to sign fast with a limited time offer.
Limited time offer. I love those. Those are amazing. Look, that's a classic pressure tactic. I love these ones. If you're looking to get a steel building and these companies will get a hold of you and go, hey, we just had people cancel their contracts, so they're half off. They're half off 24/7. Okay. It's a classic tactic. It's a pressure tactic. I've seen it so many times I've lost count. The salesman says, hey, we're closing our quarter. We need to get this done today or this week. They're trying to get you to hurry up and sign.
Right. So what's the move?
Walk away from the deal if it won't survive basic due diligence. If they don't take the time to allow for due diligence, again, silence or glossing it over tells you more than if they tell you the truth.
Even if it means losing a discount or the timing.
Look, discounts are something that's arbitrary, right?
Right.
The manager can always approve a discount. It doesn't matter when it is. They want the business, they want the business. So that's ridiculous. Urgency is where the worst deals hide. They hide behind the buy now, save 20%. Well, how come I can't buy tomorrow and save 20%? Well, the deal expired. Well, who's in charge of the deal? You want the deal or not?
Exactly. That's great advice, people. Listen, smarts, motivators, warriors, final bosses, we locking in. So, question. A good vendor with good product doesn't need to rush you, right?
Nope. And if they're rushing you, you got to ask yourself, why do they need the rush more than you do?
Now, that is the point, right? That is the point, Sensei.
So, look, if they're rushing you, that's a red flag. Okay, huge red flag.
Mm-hmm.
And we're careful about red flags.
Absolutely. Hey, matter of fact, where's my red flag? Red flag right here, baby. Red flag on the play. Y'all missed the red flag. Listen, and that's the whole 5-step process. And you have to ask, does it apply to free tools as well?
Of course it does, even more so. If something's free, I'll say a word, Facebook, who's the product? If you're not paying for it, who's the product?
Exactly.
All your social medias, are you paying for them? No. So who's the product? Okay, so
we're the product.
There you go. So free tools trade access for the price tag. If it's free, there's a reason it's free.
Man, if you're not paying for money, you might be paying for data access.
Exactly. Look, the vetting matters just as much, maybe more, like I said, on the free stuff, because you're going to grant them access, and that's what they want.
And that's a real blind spot for a lot of small businesses trying to save money.
Of course it is. Nothing's free. Somebody's always paying. And the question is, what is the currency?
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, all those free sites out there, they're the sheep herder, and we're the sheep. And guess what? They're getting all of the wool and the lamb chops and all those things for free. Oh man. Look. Let's keep going, man. Let's keep going.
Look, every major technology shift follows the same arc, okay? Everybody has done it. This is a lather, rinse, repeat. It's a powerful new tool. Everybody has adoption. They use it right away. They all want the tool. But safeguards, they lag behind.
Right.
Happens all the time.
Happens all the time, right? So give me the full pattern.
Well, I mean, like I said, everybody wants a new shiny object. They all want the shiny penny. And they're going to go after it as fast as they can. They're going to grant it access as fast as they can, full rights. And then they realize down the road, oops, I have to fix this. I have to adjust. I gave it too much access to all my data. Now what? Where's your safeguards?
Right. Where are the safeguards?
I mean, eventually, one way or another, you're going to have to fix it.
Man, we gave two great examples for you guys talking about those two businesses earlier. And we even talked about we talked about the free tools, but and let
me give you an example.
Okay.
Early aviation. Okay. Planes flew commercial routes years before there was ever a standardized safety protocol. Ever. They didn't care. There was no rules. They just flew.
Right. And what forced the correction?
Accidents. I mean, painful ones. I mean, if there's no regulation, that's what forces regulation. Accident. People die.
And after that correction?
Well, aviation became one of the safest ways to travel on the planet.
So the correction, painful as it was, actually built something better.
Every single time. And the industries that get this right come out stronger, not weaker.
Okay. I can dig that. So give me a tech example this time.
All right. Early internet. before basic cybersecurity hygiene, okay, we're talking wild, wild west. Companies got breached constantly before anybody took it seriously. I'll give you a simple example. Exchange 5.5. Everybody used to send their mail. It was the mail server. It lived in-house. There was no way to protect it. You could not protect it. So you could get hacked all the time and couldn't do anything about it.
Wow.
The product itself was flawed and could not be patched, couldn't be fixed.
Then what?
Well, the entire industry got built around fixing what they ignored.
Okay. So AI safety right now is that industry being born in real time, and we're witnessing it.
Oh, we're watching it happen right now, tonight.
Okay.
I mean, this year live. We are watching this live at 5.
That reframes the whole 19 incident story, honestly.
Go ahead and expand on that one a little bit.
All right. So it's not the end of something, it's the birth of the correction.
Right. And that's the whole point of tonight's episode right there. We are not watching a disaster. We're watching an industry grow up. You've heard of software that becomes mature. The bugs get worked out. They got it fixed. It's working like it's supposed to. It's clean and it's functioning. But in the beginning, you're on what's called the bleeding edge, where it doesn't work and it's constantly breaking. We're watching the same thing happen in AI.
Wow.
The industry is growing up.
Yeah. Sounds like painful growing pains, but growing pains are all the same.
And look, the businesses that are paying attention right now, they get to grow up alongside it. They get to fix it before it's a problem.
Now, that's a great point. But let me ask you this. And you know what? Let me push you on the timeline here, right? We talked about aviation. Aviation took decades to mature into what it is today.
Right. But AI is on a compressed timeline. Everything on a compressed timeline. It used to be your technology would last you 10 years. Then it's 5 years. Now we're looking at certain items of your technology aren't even lasting that long. How long is a cell phone supposed to last you? 2 years, maybe?
Right. So does that mean the
timelines are compressing?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, the corrections have to happen faster because the whole cycle is a different speed. What used to take this long is now taking this long. So you have to be faster at the correction, because if you don't correct, you miss the time frame, you miss the opportunity.
Now, is that good news or bad news for the business owner?
Both.
Oh, okay. Explain both sides.
No, we like to get the bad news first.
Okay.
Because you have less time to prepare before the correction lands on your doorstep. Okay. Good news, if you move now, you're ahead of the slow moving industry.
So speed cuts both directions here.
Of course. The same speed that created the risk can now work for you if you use it right.
Okay. Well, give me one more historical parallel before we continue.
All right. So automobile industry, the early days, there were no seatbelt laws. There were no speed limits, no crash testing, nothing.
Decades before they became a standard practice.
Decades. And a lot of preventable harm happened in that gap because the technology was developing. It wasn't even developed.
So let me ask you, what finally forced the change?
Well, public pressure, that's a big one. Documented harm, right? You got people that are dying. And eventually, the regulation that the industry fought at first becomes common.
That sounds familiar to anything else we've talked about.
That's the same pattern. Everything else. It's never a different pattern. What we're doing here and what we talk about follows the same pattern. This is why it's so easy for us to know what's going to happen. We watch the patterns. We study the machine. We don't argue with the decorations. We see the pattern. When you watch the waves, you learn how to surf because you watch the waves. You know what's coming. It's not a different wave. You just learn to predict what the waves are.
True. New technology, same human story every single time.
And that's why the history matters. It's not the tangent. That's not what this is. It's the map.
Now, let me ask you one more closing question on the history piece, right?
Go ahead.
Is there any technology that never went through this cycle that just got it right from the start?
No.
I knew you were going to say that.
No.
Okay.
Doesn't happen.
So the cycle itself might be unavoidable.
I mean, it is unavoidable. It's the cycle. You don't start at the end of the race. You start at the beginning of the race. Everybody's on the same racetrack. Right. You position it inside the cycle is what's actually optional.
Wow.
It's your position inside that cycle that's optional. You're still in the same race.
Man. Time is flying when we're having a great time. Man. So, smarts, motivators, warriors, final bosses. Listen, we got 10 minutes left. Well, now 9 minutes left. And, you know, I want to impress upon you, right? That you go back and watch episode number 284 and then come back and rewatch this segment and take some notes, right? Take some notes because there's a lot of information in here, especially if you're a business owner. So to my final bosses, to my warriors, you guys in particular need to understand exactly where we're coming from. And so right now, with 9 minutes left, right, we've got through a lot of information.
We're running out of time again.
I know. So, well, let's do this, Sensei. Let's get to your corner, right? Let's get to the Sensei's corner.
Oh, the Sensei's corner. Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're gonna jam into that, huh?
Yeah, well, let's jam into the Sensei's corner.
Well, you know, it is a corner. You know, the fun thing about corners is sometimes a cat and a dog will like to fight right outside of a corner, right? They don't they back them in the corner.
Right. So family, look, this block right here belongs to the Sensei alone, right? And you know, we do this a lot on Tech Tuesdays, or more so when it is just him. And tonight is no different. So I want him to walk through this segment and with the time we have left, and then we're going to close out. And
all right. So tonight I want to talk about finishing what you start.
Okay.
I mean, last week we ran out of time and we could have easily let it go, called it good enough and moved on.
Right.
Because a declaration, a half declaration is no declaration at all. I mean, how many of you get halfway through an AI audit and stop?
That's a great question.
I mean, think about it. You started the 5 questions, you got busy because emails came in, phone started ringing, and you never finished the 5th question.
Sounds like it's half a safeguard better than no safeguard.
Well, they say that, you know, you're not slow. If you're not slow and you're not fast, you're half-assed. Because here's the problem. It gives you false confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, you think you did the work, but you didn't finish the work. And that's where the risk lives, in that gap.
That's uncomfortable.
I mean, it's supposed to be uncomfortable because that's what this corner's for.
Okay. So give him the challenge.
All right. So go back this week to whatever you started and didn't finish. I don't care what it is. The audit, checkpoint, the policy document. Okay. Make lists of things that you need to finish. Keep that list off to the side and know, here's my things that I started, but I didn't finish. At least you have a reference point you can go back and pick up. A started task and a finished task look identical on a to-do list, but they're not identical when something actually goes wrong.
Right. Sit with that, family.
I mean, that's the whole corner right there.
And you know, Sensei, I want to add something.
Sure. Go ahead.
The 2-part of the episode in itself is an example of finishing what you started.
Expand on that, would you?
Oh man, we could have compressed it into part one, man, but we didn't. And you know, we didn't want to leave it shallow. We left the information broad and open for everybody, and we brought it back to them.
And you know, you got to give the two halves room to breathe because there's certain parts of it you just need to hear.
Absolutely. And that's not a coincidence.
No, no, it's not coincident at all. I mean, we practice what we teach on this show.
And I appreciate you for saying that, man. I really appreciate you for saying that.
I mean, that's what it's for. Every single week, no notes, no script. This is why we do this.
And you know, one more piece. I've been saying that all night. If you're willing, of course, right?
Of course. Right?
Any final word of for somebody who's been sitting and they have some unfinished tasks that they're working through?
Yeah. Stop listening to us talk and go finish it right now.
Boom. That's it.
Look, we'll still be here in 5 minutes, okay? That task might not wait as kindly, especially
And
if
look,
you're
that's
close to having it done.
exactly. And that's a real offer.
Right? I mean, look, go do it. Then come back and
Mhm.
finish the show with us. You don't have to sit here and watch the whole thing. You know, you can come back and rewatch, pick it up. There's notes you want to take anyway, so watch it the second time.
So let me give you one more angle yet again on finishing what you start.
And you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. Go ahead.
The corner's always personal, but tonight I want to ask you something specific.
Go for it.
All right, 23 years, and you know, at DoD, 20 plus leading teams in your business and the things that you do, right? Did you ever regret finishing something instead of walking away?
No, it's the opposite. The things that haunt me are the things that I don't finish.
Okay.
If it's finished, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. It's finished. It's done. You can take it off your plate. It's not sitting there nagging at you going, and you should have, could have, you should have, you could have.
Mm.
Never once have I ever regretted finishing something.
Okay.
When it's done,
What about
it's done.
what about the opposite? Any regrets?
Oh, I mean, you know, I try not to live my life full of regrets. Plenty
Okay.
of times. Regrets stick with you longer than any of that effort would have. It's so much easier. It's easy to be hard. It's hard to be smart. Sometimes if you just buckle down and get the work done, it's
Mhm.
better than if you take the long route of finding a way to not get the work done. Use less effort, just do it, than making excuses to why you didn't.
Okay. And that's the hard truth, ladies and gentlemen. That's the hard truth, and that's how you end this corner.
I mean, that's hard truth. What this corner's for every single week.
All right. All right. Let's give it up for the Sensei and the Sensei's corner, ladies and gentlemen. Right. As we get ready to close, to each and every single one of you who are here, right? We thank you, of course. We thank you. And you know, we're gonna be here again each and every last single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, right? We were going to try and do rapid fire, but I see that we don't have time for rapid fire. So, you know, we're gonna close out. And I want the Sensei to bring this on home. Close out this episode for us.
All right. This week, you should have a job of documentation.
Mhm.
Write your answers down, date them, keep the record clean. If you're working on something, document it. Don't overthink it. Build a queue this week. Your job is the culture conversation from segment 10, right? Bring it up at your next team meeting. Start the discussion. Have the culture of we're not going to blindly implement. That's what you do.
And that's the whole arc right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, the leadership means pulling somebody else up, not just staying ahead yourself. You got to build your team. You can't be the only auditor. You have to someone else that knows enough to be able to help with the load. You can't do it all alone.
Exactly. And you got to do it and be intentional about it.
You got to be intentional. And watch those salesmen. Woo! Oh my God. Watch those salesmen, because I'm telling you, they promise everything. And I've just recently had to go through a client who had that same problem. They believed the salesman. I gave them a whole list of questions to answer. The salespeople, they did not answer the questions. They pressured them into signing a dotted line. And guess what? A month and a half later, after thousands of dollars of implementation, they had to change direction and go to a different vendor because it didn't do what they promised.
Wow.
Answer the questions. We put them out there for a reason.
Okay. Y'all heard it first from the Sensei. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again. This has been Tech Tuesdays, Season 4, The Rebirth, Arc 5, The Declaration, episode number 289. Episode number 289. To my smarts, to my warriors, to my motivators, to my final bosses. Listen, document it, build it, share it, and mentor it forward. Anything else before we go?
We're good.
We're good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. And if I don't see you again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That is our show. And look, there's always a heavy pain that comes with discipline, but there's even heavier pain that comes with regret. I am here. We are here. Be balanced, be equal, and be smart. That's our show. We see you again next Tuesday, 9 p.m. for Tech Tuesday. And I will see you tomorrow for Merger Wednesdays, right? Merger Wednesdays is tomorrow. I will see you there. Take care.
Welcome to Tech Tuesday on the Final Boss podcast, where innovation meets attitude and the future gets decoded one byte at a time. I'm your host, Turbo the CEO, and your co-host, Mike Foth. And today we're diving deep into the tech trenches to uncover the tools, trends, and truths shaping tomorrow. Whether you're a code slinger, gadget geek, or just tech curious, this is your weekly power-up. So grab your controller, plug in, and let's level up.